Wholeness, my lovely, beautiful people. You should know my name by now, Brian Justice. My name is Zeke Dorsett, and this is the Need to Know show. Really, really nice to have you guys back watching this. And today I have an amazing guest. She's back with me today. She's come over for the weekend to say hello at my house. My sister, Chantelle Dorsett. How's things? How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Good to be here, and yeah, it's nice to do another talk show.
Lovely. So, yeah, it's been quite an interesting, actually, 24 hours. We've had quite deep, we always seem to have quite deep, insightful conversations and chats, and we really do naturally.
I think we reflect as well, don't we?
Yeah, we definitely naturally attempt to go to the root of whatever it is we're attempting to talk about, and the topic today and the title today really, really does resonate with where we are at this present moment as to how we're attempting to apply actions into our spells now, and it's taking time and growth to be able to take these footsteps and many back steps and many more moons to look at the flaws that we have to continue on our journey to wholeness. So the title of the show we have for you today is the Transcendental, Surrender to the Oversoul, Cleaning House. So it means a lot. It means a hell of a lot what we're going on here. So hopefully throughout the show you'll be able to take with you some nice insightful information, and sit with it, resonate with it, and use it hopefully. So I love starting the show with the what's, and I'd love to know your take on what surrendering means to you, Chantelle, please. So what is surrendering?
Well, for me, surrendering is surrendering to oneself. This could be where you are in your current life right now. So if you're not where you want to be, you can surrender yourself to that, to say, you know what, I am where I am today because of the choices and actions that I've took. Surrendering yourself, being open, honest about your emotions and how you feel. Surrendering to yourself in ways of, do you really know who you are? Are you being truthful to yourself? And are you being truthful to others? Well, if you can't be truthful to yourself, you can't really be truthful to others. Because if you don't really know yourself either, how can you be yourself around others when you don't even know who you are? So that's obviously, taking off the masks that you built up over years and years. And, like really taking off the layers and getting right to the core. And that for me is surrendering. You're breaking down all that built up walls over years and years, and you're actually allowing it to crumble. You're going back to the basics.
Okay. Well, we covered a few areas, and we'll touch base on with that in a moment throughout the show. But what definitely resonated a lot with me is the act of surrender. Well, the act of surrendering for me is most definitely, I look at it from an intangible point of view. It's yes, you can surrender to people and whatnot, but the general act of surrendering is very intangible, and it's very something personal, something. It is internal. It is a sense of release. Surrendering is a hijack motive in the sense of you are obliged to use a certain amount of your energy on a daily basis, 24/7, most of the time. You know, for example, 5% on something that you have suppressed for however long, or just don't want to be part of your life, essentially, or whatever it may be. There's something that you're projecting an energetic point of view on constantly, and enabling yourself to surrender from this will free up this abundant energy that, or this dormant energy, should we say, that has been suppressed essentially for such a long time. So, I mean, you touch on base on a lot of things there. Self-awareness. Actually, before we go into self-awareness, let's just jump in a little bit more into what surrendering is. Let's look at the acts that individuals and ourselves have played when it comes into attempting to how have we got to the situation of wanting to surrender? You know, what personas or what attributes, characteristics does one have that can show, and that shows that they need to clean house, in a sense of wanting to actually surrender from living a particular type of lifestyle? Like, one thing that's popping up into my head is self-sabotage. It's something that I've done quite a lot. You know, whether that be putting myself in particular places that I don't need to be in. You know, I've spent many years in the clubbing scene, so used to. I don't hate it. I won't change it. I can't change it. I wouldn't change it anyway. It was supposed to be what it was. And with that comes certain individuals, certain places, sordid places, etc. And I don't. And what I'm going with this is that, you know, that time spent doing drink and doing drugs and you know, sabotaging relationships in the sense of not being clear-headed as to where I was going or what I was doing, attracting individuals that weren't really beneficial to my growth, and vice versa, most probably. Clear self-sabotage was just wreaking havoc in my lifestyle, and then the knock-on effect from that, when I got out of those situations, or those situations collapses, I didn't have a way to clean up the debris, the mess, you know. So I was constantly taking on that garbage with me and dragging it into other situations, and ultimately attracting other things. I mean, manipulation is another one. I've got another couple out here: controlling and masks. So, I mean, is there anything you want to touch base on them and how they?
I think, like, going back to what you're saying about surrendering, like you said, when does surrendering happen? I feel surrendering happens when we take a beating. Like, I mean, a real beating, like we have to hit.
Are you talking like emotionally?
I mean, emotionally, spiritually, mentally. Like we make.
Do we have to?
No, we don't. But we allow ourselves to get to that point where we take a beating until we surrender in order for change to happen. Now, I feel like, no, I don't believe that we need to take that many beatings to get to that point. But sometimes, if you look at it, it's kind of a good thing, I think, because, you know, if we didn't take the beatings, we probably wouldn't have made that change on where we are today. Do you know what I mean? Like, if we didn't take it to the point where we just didn't want, we didn't want to be where we want to be, we'd probably still be doing what we're doing. I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, we'd still be doing the same thing. Yeah,
it's almost like there's I can resonate with that. Like, they called it a rock bottom in AA, didn't they? And, I had those moments where the act of surrendering, should I say, almost came forcefully.
Yeah.
In a sense, it's like nature gave it to me. Do you know what I mean? I had no choice. Do you know what I mean? Like, the scales just rocked and just just came back, and I was just on it. situations like that are very daunting, very, very scary, and very out of depth, because for me, speaking here, I'd sat deep in a particular type of frequency for a relatively long time and became accustomed to that. So the act of surrendering was foreign to me completely. I was blinded by my own actions, by having particular personas that were overruling me. I wasn't in control of many of my personas. They were running in the background or on autopilot, and I was almost in sleep state, if not most of the time in sleep state. So surrendering was, it came completely out of the blue, and I had no choice, and it was a complete different wave of frequency that scared the living shit out of me, to be honest, because I now know today that particular time I'm talking about, when I was homeless and I was overusing the drugs, and, I'd exhausted people in the sense of, I was just a hindrance in relationships, I felt like, and I even didn't talk to family members for a couple of years, and I couldn't hold down a job, etc. I was, the self-sabotage I was riddled with it, and the masks I had, I couldn't see that actually they were out of date, essentially. They just weren't working for me anymore. And I didn't know how to be rid of them. I knew nothing about shadow work. My brain had no time for that. I was too busy externally trying to change the way I felt constantly. And manipulation.
Because that's where it comes in. Yeah. That's what you're saying. Yeah. That's when manipulation and control comes in. You trying to change something externally on the outside. I believe that's when it comes in, where because we can't deal with what's going on inside, we try and manipulate what's going on the outside, which realistically we have no control over. No one. We have control over no really circumstances in that area. The only thing that you have control over is the decisions that you're going to make on a day-to-day basis. That's the only thing you have control of. So when people are trying to control things on the outside, it's because they feel like they don't have control in their own life. So they try to manipulate and mold people or circumstances to fit their comfortability.
Right.
And when if someone's not fitting that, people get upset. People get nasty because obviously that person's not doing what not doing what they want them to do. So yeah, I feel that's where most of that comes in. You're not controlling your inner world. You try to
sabotage the external.
Yeah.
So, and it's a big deal. And really sitting down and really focusing on what that means, surrendering internally. Sabotaging and manipulating yourself internally. And we've got to definitely step away from the good and the bad, because you just got to look at it from an energetical point of view. Because manipulating can be a good thing. It's an art, in essence. Saying that. Yeah. Got a little saying of what manipulate means in the dictionary here, which is to handle or control tool, mechanism, information, etc. in a skillful manner. So if you think about that, even the person who's riddled with personas or is not in the best frame of mind, call it may, they still learn a skillful art of manipulation, and we manipulate it every day, whether it's our left foot in front of our right foot, or you're in a group of friends and you say, okay, let's go and do this, or I'm going to take this route to work, or it's a tool that's needed for us to be able to.
I think it varies on extreme levels that people use manipulation.
For sure, definitely.
You've got your day-to-day basis of you manipulate, and then you can get the far end of the other scale where people really manipulate to the point of Like it could just be like you can say relationships, down to what you're wearing, where you're going, who you're. I mean, you're really, and then that comes in control as well. And you have varies of where people might sit in that scale.
Mm.
But then it depends on their frame of mind as well, where they sit in that scale. So, you know, yeah, I just feel like, yeah, like you said, manipulation isn't a bad thing. It depends on what you're using it.
I want to touch base a little bit on controlling as well. Like controlling, I mean, it's needed, isn't it? It's necessary. If you're not in control of, first of all, yourself,
Yeah.
then that means something needs to be in control of you.
Yeah.
And I can't speak for everybody, but I'm definitely one who knows that there's more behind the scenes than just what's going on in this realm. And you know, there are entities, put it may, that can take over us demonically, if you want to call it that, and take over the roles. And our ego shows this as well, where we have traits that have been suppressed and they come up in default actions. They come up on autopilot, you know, as a default setting essentially, and will pop up and will be connected to particular emotions, and they'll come out as moods and possibly physical actions, you know. So what controlling as well, I mean, just bringing it back a little bit. I mean, we spoke a little bit about this earlier about, you know, controlling. Well, I mean, parents have to control, for example, you know, teachers. When we manage, we have to control. When we want to lead.
I think it depends on, again, it's the scale, isn't it? It's the level where the scale is. Like there's controlling in your normal day-to-day basis because you have to do it in a mother and a father way, school way, and then you've got obviously work, but then again you've got the end of the scale where it can go into, which goes into like possessiveness, doesn't it? Control goes into possessiveness, like if you're really trying to control another human being.
Possessiveness is a very interesting word.
Because it entwines, doesn't it? Because when you're possessive, you want to control that person.
Yeah.
Their every move, action, word, down to everything they eat, you know, dress.
Yeah. So just finishing up on a little bit before we jump onto the word possessiveness. Just finishing up on a little bit more surrender. There's a few things here. I'm just going to roll them off and you just tell me what you feel about these. So surrendering. Sorry. So the act of surrendering. How to learn the art of surrendering is saying. This is off of a website called tinybuddha.com. So controlling, yeah. So we try to control things. Yeah, let go of control, sorry. So we try to control things because of what we think will happen if we don't. That resonates a lot, and I've been with people that have that frame of mind where they are afraid to let go essentially and rather force, be empowered by their lives, and they've tried to manipulate constantly to fix their reality, which, you know, where I'm going with this is when is the turning point, when becomes the point where it becomes too much, because I can't help but think that you need to control, because if you don't control, things can go haywire, you know. So the act of controlling, let's focus on ourselves. I mean, when does it become too much when we are attempting to control things too much?
So you're trying to control an outcome. You're trying to, it's like you're trying to, let's say this is, you want to know how the story ends to that one thing. So you're trying to control it, to manipulate into that way, because you're scared. You don't know what the outcome is. So you find that people will try to control it to get a specific outcome that they want.
It's like Final Fantasy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Gosh, yeah. Control is also a result of being attached to a specific outcome. An outcome we are sure is best for us, as if we always know what's best.
You want an outcome, that's what you want.
And I like that last bit, as if we always know what's best. Like,
We don't know
this is
what's
coming from,
best.
especially from an individual who's not in sync with who they are. How do you know what's best, Zeke? Think about that one. You know?
Yeah. Don't
think about that.
Sometimes what's best for you is something that you don't even know what is best for you.
You know?
What you think. Yeah, it's a really good one, isn't it?
You really sit with it and you just think that the energy you put into that to override the fact that something that you can't really answer.
You don't, yeah.
Because you know who you are. It's just like, where was I?
Let's say you did a particular thing and you thought that was the best thing for you, and you done it, and you was like, oh, the best thing for me. And let's say something else happened out of your control. So usually they're the ones that end up being the best thing for you. When you didn't try to manipulate or control that situation, right. It happened how it happened. And you look at the outcome and you're like, actually, I needed that because of this A, B, or C. It's actually pushed me.
I almost think there's a formula to it, in the sense of, you know, if you're attempting to control something, the equals to it is the result plus compassion, meaning whatever the result is, you have compassion of whatever the result is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Meaning you can let go, move on, regardless. You know what I mean? Take the result.
Deal with the consequences
and take the next step accordingly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You need a formula, you know what I mean, to take on board with it. And I don't feel that most of us do this. We sort of riding things out without actually having a permanent plan or plan B, but almost
I was going to say things myself. Actually, like most of the things that's happened to my life has actually been like the best. These are not the ones that I specifically chose, but the stuff that has happened to me actually have been the best things that's ever happened to me. Because from those situations, I've actually grown. Well, I thought at that particular time other things were right. Actually, the most like they were like probably the most actually worst thing I could have done. Like, I had the consequences of it, thinking that, you know, so like life is trying to take me down this route, but I'm just being resistant, it's trying to go down this route, thinking, nah, this is right for me. And actually, it just usually turned out to be the most crappiest thing that's ever happened to me. I think to myself, just let life take you where it's going to take you, really.
And I mean, that's the daunting thing that for most people is the thought of not being in control of one's life is a draining and most scary thought, because everyone hopes and most people hope and feel that they are in control, even though they don't know. I hope and feel. I'll take that feel word out. What people don't feel, but they hope that they're in control. But yeah, go on.
It's like I want to know, like it's like we're writing out a book, and they want to know ahead of time what the ending is.
No, totally. Yeah, they start the book from the back. From the back.
Yeah. It's like they want to know what it is literally at the end. Like they're writing it, and they just want to get ahead to go. I know my ending. It's fine. I can put it down now. I haven't got to do it. I can just go down this route because, you know, the book told me this is where I'm going. Right, I've completed it.
In fact, they don't even complete the book. There's like a chunk of blank pages in the middle, and there's the ending, and probably just a brief end.
Well, the past, the past, the present, but there's a massive
nothing
ending
in the middle.
No, there's just an ending, and then the present moment's a gap.
Yeah,
because I don't know where they're going.
Yeah,
but they know the end result, what they want.
Totally. Yeah.
He's like, well, how can you know your end result if you haven't got nothing in the middle? You need the present moment to get to that end result.
Absolutely, yeah.
You can't have a gap. You can't have a past and then the end result, and nothing in between, because you ain't you're not gonna get that outcome.
Yeah.
But then even then, you're not guaranteed to get that outcome. That's why you just got to have an open mind. That your outcome could be anything. You would like that. You say in your mind, this is where I would like, but it will take me where it was going to take me.
Yeah.
So you might have a route of going, oh, it might be this, but something might have to take you off it. You might have to go through rocky mountains. I don't know. Well, eventually you probably will get back on the route, but you just got to take another way to get back to the route where you need to be.
Yeah, definitely. There's nothing wrong with in that aspect of what we're talking about there is having goals, setting tasks or goals, tasks, and or being open to the fact that the methods, the idea of reaching that goal may alter because life constantly changes at the same time. So controlling really is something that is, I haven't got the words on the tip of my tongue, but it's something that is very, it's definitely not fixed. You can't control constantly. And it'll be such a huge energetical pull to want to control. You know, I've seen this in people with relationships, which is a big deal. You know, I've seen it in family affairs as well. And there comes a time when you think, just thinking from an energetical point of view, how draining that is. You know, like, and then at the same time, you're still trying to run your life. You know, whether it is achieving goals or just doing your mundane things, going to work and whatnot. You know, it's all slowly taking energy away from you. But you know, the act of controlling constantly is.
It's draining. You're thinking of like a human being. Like, something you can't even control them anyway. You can't control them, so there's no point expressing that amount of energy onto a human being that you have no control of. You might as well have all that energy for the things that you need to be doing in your life, working on yourself, growing within yourself. I don't know whether it is getting the courses done, whether it is getting that promotion at the job, chasing your dreams. That's where all your energy really needs to be. It doesn't need to be about what the other person's doing. Because at the end of the day, whatever that person's doing, that's their own journey. That's their own discovery, what they've got to figure out. And I think as well, like, knowing the fact that you're going to go through life, that you're going to go through life where people, they are going to come and go. They're not always going to, they've got their own journey. You're all on a different path, so they are going to keep, some are going to stick around, I don't know, for 10 years, and they're going to go off. Yeah, you hope that you'll be friends or you have a relationship forever, but it is, you can't have that fixating in the mind that you're going to be forever in that relationship or you're going to have that friendship forever, because they are on their own path and journey, and it will take them where it needs to take them. And if you don't have an open mind, and if you're so attached to them, then you're stopping them from living their own life.
That attachment just reminds me of those etheric entities that latch onto us, you know, because we're not present to see them in with the eyes that we have. We ultimately do it in this physical manner, you know. These things latch onto us, and we act out in that same sort of frame of mind, and way of thinking as well. But, you know, there's a couple of things here. Same website, tinybuddha.com. The energy of surrender accomplishes much more than the energy of control, and that's kind of, we touched base on that a little bit more. You know, what I said was, you free up energy. Like, the act of controlling, like I say, possesses, which we'll go into next. The act of wanting to control, manipulating, self-sabotaging, the masks that we create and take on.
It's like an app, isn't it?
Yeah, they are applications.
Literally, this is an app. This is draining 5% of the battery. This is draining 10%.
On
the phone, in it. Like,
yeah, it's exactly that. And these things are running in the background, all the time.
Until you close them down,
exactly,
you can actually get some sort of energy in.
And then, you know, this we touched base on this in the last show, you know, about depression and stuff. This is why people have these these feelings that they know very well, because they sit in it for years. For years, they're used to these sense of feelings, and they attach it to the words like depression, anxiety. And I'm not saying these things don't happen to people. I've been part of it. Still part of it, slightly in some ways, you know, some shape or form. But I can definitely say that the act of knowing how one is self-sabotaging, you know, what are masks, manipulating, controlling, looking at and recognizing, like you rightly said, you know, that the application is that we're accepting, because that's the key. Everything comes back to the self.
Yeah.
You know, we're accepting to take these
Choice.
things on,
It's
and
a
we're
choice,
allowing
isn't it?
these etheric threads to basically be attached. You know, you're my sister, so there's an etheric thread going on. So I have naturally, you know, share a bond with you. You know, so there's an energetical pull there. You know what I mean? There's something that going deeper than that. You know, like if we the job or the work or someone who's very materialistic, for example, you know, the energetical pull going into those areas, no good or bad involved. You know, it's just the input output I'm trying to express. You know what I mean? Like when the time comes when you may not have those things, or you may have to give up particular things, or you may that particular things may leave you. Do you know what I mean? They break, be out of date, not want to be with you anymore, whatever it is. The energetical pull on that, you know, and the outcome as well, because, you know, again, that goes back to self-sabotage, especially in a relationship. You know, like imagine someone leaving someone, and then the energy that's taking place afterwards. We've all been in that, you know what I mean, where it's just like it ruins you. The energy is intense, very, very intense, and it's even worse for an individual who is not in alignment with who they are.
Especially if they're not in the right frame of mind.
Yeah.
So it's more devastating than the person who is in lines. I'm not saying the person who is in line and who is more balanced and centered in ain't going to get affected. No, they'll get affected, but it will be less detrimental because they will look for the meaning, the under meaning for it, of their experience, of what they've gained from it, and have a better of an understanding. Where a person who is not in the right frame of mind, they don't see that. They just see it as the person's left them.
Yeah.
Why did you leave me? You said you loved me. And they hold all these attachments onto these people, or onto that person. Like the person doesn't have a choice of leaving. Like if the person wants to leave, they have every right to leave. But what happens is, because of that, again, possessiveness, it's like we want that person to stay, even though they didn't love. Even if they didn't love you, you want them to stay.
We're almost right. We almost write very I was going to say certificates, not certificates, contracts, and these contracts are binded, you know, and written by us for us, and they become it's like blood. It's like a blood contract almost. Do you know what I mean? It's like we really take the act of control, possessiveness, to another level in things where it can really devastate on one's energetical output, especially, but definitely how one individual can actually even retain energy, because they're just constantly leaking because of all the things that you are attempting to control, or the applications like we shared that are constantly running in the background due to wanting to be in control with things. It's draining just even thinking about it. There's a little bit here, and then we'll move on, which is quite interesting. It says surrender equals complete acceptance of what is, plus, I'll change the wording, but we'll just roll with it, faith that all is well, even without my input.
Everything will always be all right.
You want to touch base on that a bit more?
Well, I just think, you know, what would you say about it? Like, it's completely accepting. Again, it comes to accepting I am where I am today because of I put myself there. And even through relationships, friendships, whatever, family, like, you have to own that you've played a part of it. Whatever the hell has happened, you have played a part of it. it isn't just one person. You've played a part in it. You need to own that. Like, I've played a part in it, and it's led this way because even if the person was, I don't know, kicking off or doing whatever, you have a choice on how you can respond to that situation and how you act and how you behave in that situation, regardless of what that person's doing. You know what I mean? You don't have to argue back. You don't have to do nothing. You can just walk away. Well, I feel like what happens is that things happen and people just point a finger. They just shift the blame.
It's an easy way
It's just an easy way out.
Not to not look at
themselves.
Why do we do that? Why do we do that? Let's break that down. Why is it easy to externally? Because we can't look at ourselves unless we look in the mirror, and some people find it very difficult, especially if they're not in tune with themselves and can't meditate, or not even just meditate, just have a moment to be able to practice stillness. You know what I mean? And that can be done in many ways, by being able to enable themselves to sit with their energy, with the emotions, with the thought patterns, with the ideas, with the old programming, and to actually really look at everything that's popping up, and then be able to decide if any of this is actually theirs. Maybe I was jumping off course a little bit there, to be honest. My train of thought was jumping away, but
so I don't want to give up what they've been doing for so long. So that even though they know it isn't good, they still grip it like holding the ball.
They don't even know what it is. Yeah, but they're so used to that energetic field. It's become accustomed to it so much.
That they will hold on to it to dear life, because stepping outside that ball means the unknown.
It's like having to learn
something a new equipment.
It's like being on a new machine. You work in a factory and you've been on this machine for 10 years. You're on a new machine and they want you to go over there.
You just get done in, you're like that. You get done in, so it's easy to be like, machine, I know, isn't it? And it's just like,
you get a pay rise, nice one.
Yeah, exactly. Isn't it? Like, you get 10 grand pay rise, and I just stick to the machine over here because it's what I know. Yeah. And even if I know it doesn't make me happy, even if it doesn't make me happy and it makes me miserable, I know it for so long. I'd rather sit in something that I know than sit in something that I don't know that I could potentially fail at, or because it's going to make me feel a certain way, uncomfortable, which even though they're sticking to the same thing, they feel uncomfortable anyways. So even if you feel uncomfortable with the old belief, you might as well then just go to something new and be uncomfortable there. And
it's a strange place to be, isn't it? Because I can definitely put my hands up and say that, for example, I can think of one thing, to change a job, change of trade. I was stuck in food and beverage for a long time, and it's something I'll go back to probably. But I was afraid to change into something new. Oh, I've got to get paperwork, certificates, that. Every time I attempted to, there were many times I attempted to try and change. Because I wasn't comfortable, I just wasn't feeling it for a long time. And it was getting me in. I was getting myself in a particular pickle, mood-wise, emotionally becoming stressed over things because I just wanted to change, but I wasn't willing to change. So every time I did attempt to change, I found myself sort of dipping out a little bit and going out of the field, and then it's like a U-turn. I ended up back in it. I was doing food and beverage again. It's like, do you know what I mean? Yeah, literally. It's just like the comfort zone is a very dangerous place to be.
I think we make excuses when we step into something new.
Absolutely, and it's going back to the frequency. It's a different vibe, and it's like, just don't feel right. That's the way I see it. It's like, just don't feel right. Don't feel right. And people automatically go. I did at the time. Came across as it's just such a problem. It's negative. It's this. It's that. It's not. You know what I mean? Comfort zone. Right. I know this. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to be here. You know what I mean? I don't want to be here. I don't want to do another job. I want to be in music. I'm doing nothing to change.
But when you
to
do
change
have,
it.
but when you do have the opportunity, you go back to it.
It happened many a times as well.
Yeah,
like
people get opportunities.
It was given to me multiple times. Call it the universe. Call it what you want. It came in many shapes and forms. Many,
it's like going, here you go.
Constantly.
Here you go. And you're just
I kept brushing it off. Yeah. I was sending out signals and I was retrieving. I can see it all day long. Like I can see it all day long now. But I was so out of sync. You know, it was giving it to me constantly on a regular basis. You know? And then just go divert into that, you know, into that fetus position, into that comfort zone, and just sit there with it, even though I didn't like that vibe.
It's like you go back into like the little prison thing, and you step back. And
it's like they say you're free, and it's like,
and then you shut the door, and you put the chains back on, you like that. It's just like, this is more comfortable. I'm gonna stay here, put those like shackles back on, and I'd rather just stay there with the chain on my neck.
Yeah.
And just be like, that's
wow.
I'd rather sit there.
Wow.
And then watch from the outside, everyone doing stuff in their life, and going, I want that. And then the door opens, like, oh, there's the opportunity to step out and take the thing off. You like, just keep shutting that door. I don't mind. I don't mind fantasizing about what I could have instead of actually taking that leap of faith of going out there, stepping outside that cage and taking off the chains and going, yeah, I'll do it. I'd rather keep the chains on. But moan about it and watch other people do stuff that they want to do, but they don't want to step outside of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a dangerous game, and again, we're rolling into self-sabotage. But you know, the word possessiveness and learned helplessness is ringing a bell right now. So I've got a couple of things. It's coming from Wikipedia. This is on possessive. So it says a possessive form is a word or grammatical construction used to indicate a relationship of possession in a broad sense. This can include strict ownership or a number of other types of relation to a greater or lesser degree analogous to it. Kind of shared that, you know, different levels of things. Possessives are sometimes regarded as a grammatical case, the possessive case, although they are also sometimes considered to represent the genitive case. Where are we going with this? Not what I want to talk about there, but possessiveness. We touched base on a little bit more on that, Chantelle. So, do you want to talk about what possessiveness means to you and how maybe you've got an example that's happened, you've been a part of, maybe? Have you been possessive in your life? That would be quite an interesting one to know.
Yeah, I think I've been possessive with a lot of things, objects, people, you know, using the word "you're mine." Yeah, I think I've done it a fair few times, you know. I think I've done it a fair few times, you know. I told you about that car. It was about the car, wasn't it?
Oh, right, yeah.
When my car got smashed in and I cried. And then the realisation kicked in, as like, car ain't even mine. Like, it ain't even mine. I'm paying for something that isn't even mine, but I'm getting done in because I'm going, my car! Like, somebody hit my car, but the car it's not even mine. And even when I pay it, even when I pay it off, it still isn't mine because when I die, that car's going to be sitting on the driveway. They got like a saying, I think there's like a saying in like the Philippines, like, the car outlives the owner. Literally that, because the car's always going to be there, isn't it? Yeah. And it is going to outlive the owner.
Yeah. There's a little bit, I know, I'm just going to touch base on what I'm trying to attempt with this Wikipedia bit, but this is just a bit from a dictionary on possessive, and an adjective meaning saying that it's demanding someone's total attention and love. And when I shared this to Chantelle, I just went, oof, wow. No, I'll read that again. Demanding someone's total attention and love. How and what?
How? Up your job.
It means taking that, like, it's like, what do you do?
It just looks like you give up your job, you give up your life.
But what if you got to work? It's like, you got a partner, and it's like, well, okay, let me just take my skin off, put it on this mannequin, so I'm still here for you, but I can go to work and do 8 hours.
Or you can make a pouch and you can just put them in there.
Like a kangaroo, yeah.
You can take them to work. And
it's
they can be
demanding.
They can look at you like, which is like, what's your working?
It's and yeah, I can relate to you with what you're saying, even with the materialistic side of things, with possessiveness.
Like the items in the house, like they're all going to be there. Like, we are going to pass away before the items.
Yeah, I mean,
and the items are sitting there.
I've done it. I've done it with a car. I got pissed off with that. And I put a scratch in one of my newest cars this years ago, and it done my head in. I really took ownership of this thing because it was mine. I paid for it. Yes. And it's just like, and I thought it was mine. Yeah, exactly. Getting lost of it. I thought it was mine, and it's just like, when you look back on it now, you just realise that actually, and I've got to look at things from an energetical point of view. The pull, the energy I gave that. You know what I mean? The energy I generally gave that to, it busted me up. Like, it really, really drained me, and just thinking that I could have shared that energy with something else, and the result of that situation still would have been the same.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, call up the company, or and do whatever you have to do. The result pretty much would have been the same.
Yeah.
And that energy that I was busted,
run over some iron,
I could have shared into something else.
Yeah.
And that's just been possessive.
You can look at it and be like, I've had a fair few when my cars have been hit. You can look at it and go, that could have been me. I could have been mashed up across the road, but I'm too busy going, my car, forgetting about myself, that I could have been licked off the roads. I'm too busy focusing on they hit my car.
Yeah.
And actually, you look at actually, thank God I'm still here, because that could have written me right off. And guess what? The car will still outlive me. That's the end result of that. So do you know what? It is just a car. You could always pay and get it fixed. Just as long as it ain't you, that's who cares? And who cares what happens to the objects?
And what about from a point of view with individuals? Because this is really deep, and I'm trying to think. Maybe I'm really trying to open up, but I've always been an individual, and this is a problem. It's something I've been working on. Someone who walks away from things, in the sense of, especially if something I didn't like the pull on particular things. Maybe at times they were telling me truths, or maybe just the situation just didn't feel too comfortable. It became, I wouldn't even say overwhelming, lightly. Do you know what I mean? Unsettling. And I say that because I didn't know myself back in those days too tough. So to be overwhelming is probably a step too far. How have you had any situations where possessiveness has played in a particular relationship, whether it's in family or personal relationship with friends?
I do, if you say like my previous relationship, I've spoken about today.
Yeah.
But I didn't know I was actually in a controlling relationship. Or maybe I feel that's because, going back to the thing that we saw there, that I've just had so much crap done to me, it was just a norm. Or I just think it was just, because it was my first proper relationship, I just thought it was normal. But, he would get really addressed a certain way. You'd be told, or I'll be told you look too good. What the hell is that, you look too good? Or he'll be like, you should wear a burqa. Or why don't you wear some baggy trousers so people don't find you attractive? Or Or he would say wow, I'm gonna lock you in a cage.
What?
And I just thought that was just like a normal thing. I was like, why does he keep saying that? Like, he wants to lock me in the cage. And then like, we'll do like this fantasy thing, like, say, oh, if we would rule the world. And if he said he ruled the world, and I'll pretend about, oh, I've run away from you. And he used to get absolutely upset about that. Even though it ain't even happening, like, you know, this is...
Sorry, I don't know.
Like, it was a fantasy, and you're getting upset about something that ain't actually really happening. And yeah, you used to get really upset. And it just got, yeah. And it was just kind of like, when I started talking, I think when the relationship ended, I actually looked back and went, wow, actually, yeah, that was off key. Like, say I'm going to lock you in the cage, or, you know, just, there was this signs like he didn't want me to talk to guys.
It's almost hidden abuse, isn't it? No,
Yeah.
It's not almost, it is. I mean, there's a bit here I've dragged out, possessiveness again, and generally excessive attempting to assert ownership or possession, and a regular propensity to manage or control other people, usually consisting of the limitation of their cultural unions. In its most extreme form, this trend of behaviour is frequently correlated with abusive unions. So, I mean, it's definitely moving along that route.
Yeah, definitely. Like, it's just one of those things. Like, if you've never been in that situation, you don't know, do you? You just think maybe this person's just being, I don't know. You just think it's just normal. But you know, when you're out of it and you look slightly, because when you're too in it, you can't see it. It's only when you come outside the box or when you left the situation that actually that was actually off key. He was off key, like, and then you look at, you know, what potentially could it gone down to. You know, like the last straw was, you know, punched the wall beside my head. Well, no, he didn't punch me, he hit the side of the wall because I got him angry and threw the cup in my face. Like, that's like, where's the next?
Exactly. Yeah, for sure, definitely.
Because if he wanted to do that,
in control,
yeah, if he wanted to do that, is that what he wants to do to me? I'm not saying that he did, but these are the things you start to look at and thinking, okay, if he was getting frustrated like that, where could it end? Where could it start leading to? You know, where could it lead to if I moved out, lived with him? Could I have been then isolated? Could he then have more control? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely, for sure. I mean, that resonating a lot with that. With recent affair, if you want to call it that. Actually stepping out of that system, you know, something quite off key happened where I saw a flip side to this girl, and it allowed me to get out of that situation quick time, because if it was anyone else who was not in sync, something dangerous would happen.
You know what I mean?
And I said that with you, didn't I? You could have seen this person probably get sapped about, like, because what was going on was not normal. But regardless of the situation, my point being is when I stepped out of the situation, only when I stepped out of the situation, and I sat with myself and I only had me to account for all my thoughts, I started connecting the dots and recognizing, wow, possessiveness in this, like the lies, the deceit, the particular wording to things to keep me reeled in. And I'm not blaming her for anything, because the fact is I was there. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, so where was I? So I'm only accountable for my actions.
Where was your awareness within that situation?
Yeah. Well, being in that situation and seeing it for what it was, by having the time to step out and evaluate it, really showed me, wow, possessiveness is something that, again, it's a dangerous affair, but there's an art to it. There's an art to, it's going back to manipulating, controlling, and it's almost having a deck of masks. You know what I mean? You've got a deck of cards and you pick a mask. It's like, we're playing again. Put this one on. That one on. I'm playing this one. And there's an art to it. To be able to, you can't just be possessive, because it just looks destructive.
No,
You know, when it comes with individuals, you're playing a game.
Yeah, I think you've been doing it for a long time. You do become the master of that game.
Yeah.
Of doing that. And, you know, I think you definitely are like, I have to sit there and say to myself, where was I? But I can go back and go, yeah, I wasn't really in line. That was when I had my awakening. That time I was in that relationship. So things happened. So life, the universe did things to get me to get out of it, because I dragged it out longer than it should have been. Like, it should have been done ages ago, but I allowed it to go. Like, I allowed it to go because I keep going back, thinking I could change the person, which is wrong with me. And then things had to happen, had to get that bad for me to go and give up. I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. Because it was the universe's way of trying to get me. It's not in line with me, because I woken up. It wasn't in line with what I wanted to do.
Totally.
So it had to do something dramatic for me to go, the penny's dropped. Right, it's time for me to, he can be the way he is, there's nothing wrong with that. But he doesn't want to change. I can't force change, but again, that's me trying to manipulate something that's me trying to manipulate and control something, trying to change someone. And it took me to realise that I can't change anyone, I only can change myself.
And we've got to question ourselves as to what we want to even. Why do you want to change someone? Like, it's going back to that, when does it become, when does it tilt? When does it become too much? You know, even like, even think from a parent point of view. Yes, you teach, and then there comes a point when you have to let go.
Because if you keep doing it, they're going to come destructive anyway. Yeah.
I mean, they're going to be contained, and then when does it become an issue where, you know, you're putting on these invisible chains on people, you know? It's a dangerous situation.
Yeah,
like, and that's from a relationship point of view. Even from
friendship.
I've seen it in, for example, teachers at school. Like, they have a way of teaching, and it can be very, very. And I've seen the other end of the scale where teachers have been very loose and they've been trodden on. You know what I mean? But I mean, you've got the possessive individual that demands, like, I don't know, like, it becomes a. But does it mean it takes on traits? I mean, what I'm trying to get at is there's characteristics that come on board with that, and you find that they're quite aggressive.
But does it because? This is what I'm thinking now. Is it because they're so passionate about it? It goes beyond the passion. It comes then into wanting to demand it, because you're so passionate. Because you can be so passionate about something,
right.
And if you want that person to really, you can go over the passion, and then you're treading in deeper waters.
Totally. Well, yeah. I mean,
and then that's when it comes. That's when it comes to then you're demanding, and it's gone past the passion. Yeah, you love it, but you've gone past it now. You're
that's obsession.
Yeah, you've actually tried to now manipulate and change because of the passion that you have, and it's trying to take a step back and go, actually, I may have a passion for this, but there's a line that I actually have to stop myself from going over and realise that if the person doesn't want help, I have to go. Much as that's my passion, want to help people, I have to step back and go, you know what? I have to let them go. Because what will happen is it becomes you hinder them, and they will stop doing the things because you've been too, over them. So there's a line.
Yeah, definitely. You have to be very mindful, and with our actions, and also with our words, and they can really be. Yeah, it's just like flashbacks, things going through my head, and places where I've been and people, and I'm just left thinking, it's like it's all coming back to self again, and then recognizing how I want to play out my reality, and the reality will see fit. It will always see fit with me, and things will come into my reality accordingly. And it's having the empowerment to register
awareness
where you are, what you want, and how you're going about getting it, and having that goodie bag which has the necessities, i.e., passion, life support bag, parcel of love. Do you know what I mean? Just a reserve bank, reserve tank. You know, those little bits to so if things do waver a little bit, you can go, come back, center yourself rightly, and then take the next steps with real thought. But you know, learning helplessness was popping in, so I've got a little bit here on that. This is from Wikipedia, and I've done a post on learning helplessness a little while back, and I'll just read this. Well, it's quite a deep topic, to be fair. I think a lot of us are actually involved in this without even realising. But learned helplessness is behaviour that occurs when the subject endures repeatedly painful or otherwise aversive stimuli, which it is unable to escape from or avoid. After such experiences, the organism often learns to accept the painful stimulus and does not even try to escape or avoid it, when it would have been possible to do so. In other words, the organism learned that it is helpless. In situations where there is a presence of aversive stimuli, it has accepted that it has lost control and thus gives up trying, even as changing circumstances offer a method of relief from said stimuli. Such an organism is said to have acquired learned helplessness. Learned helplessness theory is the view that clinical depression and related mental illnesses may result from such real or perceived absence of control over the outcome of a situation. And there's that word, control, again. So I'll read that last bit because that's quite interesting. Learned helplessness theory is the view that clinical depression and related mental illnesses may result from such real or perceived absence of control over the outcome of a situation.
Well, don't always have control of that outcome.
You want to touch base on that a bit more?
Yeah, I just think like definitely it's, and I can sit there and I can sit there and say I've done that, where I've gone through experiences, and in the end it just comes normal. Like the stuff that happens to you is just like, oh, it's fine, you know.
So you've hijacked the the sensation that's coming through you, this energetical. It's almost like a prick sensation, which is saying, I'm out of sync, this doesn't feel right. I'm out of sync, this doesn't feel right. I don't like this. Oh, it's not, I don't know this feeling. This doesn't feel right. This isn't resonating with me. This is your internal inside telling you, no, this isn't right. This isn't right. It's like we should be over here. We're definitely, you know what I mean? It's telling you something's buzzing. Well, we override it. It's like we mask that over.
It just comes normal.
And then we cheat ourselves in believing that it's acceptable.
It's okay.
It's all right.
It's okay to go through.
Okay. It's and then you know, I'm hearing a lot of words in my head. Like I've heard this, for example, things like I'm supposed to be poor, or this always happens. This always happens to me. This always happens to me.
But why not you?
And you know, I always get shit boyfriend. I always get shit girlfriends, or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Things like this, and this learned helplessness is popping things off in my head. You know, this unable to escape from or avoid, endures repeatedly painful or otherwise aversive stimuli, which it is unable to escape from or avoid.
We also draw that because we're so used to experience. We draw that kind of energy into our world, so we can experience it even more. Or the universe will just keep giving you the same thing till you change it.
Because that's what you're putting out, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's the way I see it. Because you're constantly putting out that frequency.
Negative
you're getting
shit.
it in just a different shape.
And different person, different circumstances. But yeah.
It's the same energy.
It's kind of like it's kind of like the universe going, so you've had enough yet? See, you've had enough.
The same card being dealt.
I'm just going to keep throwing at you until you had enough. Right. Until you had enough, you're going to you're going to change it. But some people don't. They will just keep sending out the same shit. And then when you go, do you think you're attracted to that? No. So, and then you say to people, okay, do you think if you think, so, thought about a positive thing, you can attract that? And I've had people say this. Yeah. If you think positive, you can attract them to last. Do you not think the negative can be the same? No. So like, how the hell is it not the same? Like, how the hell can you sit there and say, so if you're thinking about positive things, you're telling me you can attract that. You 100% believe that.
Yeah.
But when I tell you about a negative circumstance that you can attract in your life, you're telling me it ain't real. Oh, that makes no sense. I was like, it's the same thing. You can think that, and you can. It's the same thing. If you're thinking negative, like,
this is the problem with duality, is having that basis of it works in a manner of attempting to describe things with the stupid language that we call English. but ultimately they're all one and the same. Everything's all one and the same. So I totally see where you're coming from with that. It's
what people go around like, you've got to have luck. It's a whole luck thing.
The luck is hope in my eyes.
It's like
you're hoping that something's going to happen, and if you're not a true,
some people are just lucky. You just hear that crap. Some people are just lucky just to get the car.
If you don't know how to,
look at them, it's like, that's just it. Like,
if you don't know how to manipulate correctly the energy that you're putting out there, what you're trying to attract, most people won't probably like what they attract accordingly. Do you know what I mean? And we can do this. We've done this before, and people don't recognise, and you're rightly so, that when people are repeatedly in that,
I don't want to be the one,
being attracted to things that they don't like. It's because they need to look at their point. How it's very difficult for people to realise, especially when they're naive to their own individual self, how we energetically are able to attract and pull in particular forces accordingly. We do it. You find I've got no number on it, but you'll find probably the majority of people, especially in the Western world, no doubt attract a lot of, call it, negative vibes very easily, because they become very professional at doing that.
Yeah.
They know how to do it. With the thought processes and the incorrect thought ideas that they have, and the labels that they have towards particular things, and the actions and the outputs that come with it. So yeah, again, it's going back to that sabotaging again, isn't it?
Yeah.
Dangerous.
And the thing is, well, they don't want to own up to that. They're the one that's creating their life. They don't want to own up to it. That's why I don't believe in it.
But they want responsibility. But they want. But the weirdest thing is that they want to feel like that they are in control of their lives. Or tell them that, and they're like,
no, I was just unlucky. I was just unlucky.
They would brush it off and just send it out like. But when you tell you're not in control of life, they're like, nah, I'm in control of my life. Mate,
yeah. No.
Dangerous, and these people that are like, no judgment to them.
We've all been there, but you have that awareness, man. Like, when that kicks in, you can change things. You're aware of your environment, your emotion, your state of mind. It plays a massive factor. So then you can control which decisions or route you're going down, instead of just allowing the wind just to take you wherever it's going.
Yeah. And it will,
because you don't have no control, so you just flying anywhere.
So you flow with life.
Yeah.
So if you're not going to take control, take reins of your
life is just going to take you where it's going to take you.
It's going to play out, and you're going to have to energetically give.
Yeah.
Whether you take in is your business, isn't it? And you'll find that most people aren't taking in anything. They're just dispersing so much energy. That's why they're depressed.
Yeah. Or you can say that they're in a boat, they see an island, but they can't get there. It's going around in circles.
Totally.
Just go, why am I not getting there? It's just the island's just sitting there.
Yeah.
Because they're lost.
So I wanted to touch on the difference between delusion and illusion, and this is something that plays a big part in many people's lives, how they think, I'm just going to read from this. It's called, this is from a webpage called differencebetween.net. Difference between delusion and illusion. Though illusion and delusion can be thought of as synonyms, they actually have different meaning. While illusion pertains to unreal vision, delusion can be said to be a false belief. Illusion can be termed as a misleading perception. You will be seeing something, but the fact is that you see it in a different perspective. Illusion means misjudging the length, direction, and shape of objects that are seen. Illusion is something related to the vision that one sees but misinterpreted. Delusion, on the other hand, is a false belief that is maintained even if it is contradicted. In simple words, illusion can be said to be one that fools the mind, and delusion is something one perceives to be truth even after others contradict it. Though these two are not real, illusion pertains to the mind and delusion pertains to belief. Shall I go? Is there anything you want to say, or shall I carry on?
No, go on.
While delusion can be termed as perpetual disturbance, delusion can be called as belief disturbance. Delusion is something that is caused by outside influence, but delusion is caused by one's feelings. Delusion happens when you are fooled by your vision, but delusion happens when you become a fool of yourself because of your beliefs. Big deal. While illusion can be termed to be external, delusion can be called as internal. Delusion is a fixed belief, which can be either false or fanciful. Illusion is also distortion of the senses. While illusion is a physical phenomenon, delusion pertains to the mental aspect. Illusion is something that you and everyone know is just an illusion, only and not true. For example, you and the magician know that the tricks are illusion. In delusion, people think that what they see or hear is real, despite someone contradicting it. Illusion and delusion comes from Latin words. Illusion comes from ludere, that means to play, and delusion comes from deludere, that means to play falsely. So I just wanted to chuck those words out there briefly, because they seem to get most definitely lost in translation, and I hear them a lot of the time actually being overlapped with each other quite a lot. Well, hopefully you got a little bit from that. And how do you feel about how illusion and delusion plays in individual beings' lives? Because
Well, it's like the thing that we were saying, like believing that, like we said, like what were you saying before? Like, I'm just meant to be cool.
yes,
Like, that is just
yes, yeah, absolutely,
just,
yeah.
Oh, I was meant to suffer.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not meant to get anywhere better than where I am now. Like, this is it for me. Like, that's
why do I attract I just attract horrible boyfriends. Why I attract this? Why me? I'm just not supposed to have this money, you know. Once I get it, it just goes up my hand like water.
And it's constantly being the victim.
It's just
playing the victim all the time.
Yeah.
Like, fine, be the victim, but then move on. Like, don't continuously play the victim for years on end.
You know, and you latch onto these ideas and thoughts, and they become, even though they're so false and so not true,
yeah,
they become real.
Yeah.
You know, because the empowerment that you give these, you're constantly conjuring up these spells, saying particular words and bringing these things up, and the I and the me, the I and you know, and you're setting these spells off constantly, and you're allowing these words to come out, shifting your frequency constantly, allowing you to stay in this low vibe, constant humming, low vibe. You know what I mean?
I don't know. It's like playing like the boy that cried wolf all the time, isn't it? It's just being a victim all the time. Like, if you're stuck in victim mode, you weren't ever going to step outside the box because you're basically like, you're still harvesting things that's happened many years ago. I'm not saying what you've gone through is like, it was just an experience at that time. Like, you know, you learn from it, you move on, you're not the victim anymore. Yeah, it sucks that it happened to you, like, nothing should happen to anyone, but how long do you play that part of your story? Like, you don't want to rip it off the page. Like, that happened and they leave it in their book. And then they keep going back to it, and I went through this. And I went through, like, I don't know how to just let it go. It's like they have to keep going to that one page and just repeat
going back to that book.
Yeah.
Like, we had that the idea of someone being an author. Like, we're all authors, but a lot of people want to start the beginning. So there's a few pages done. Skip the whole middle bit and go to the end. So when it comes to
present moment, they've got
no idea
because they're stuck in the past.
Because it's just blank.
That's what I mean. They're stuck in the past.
Only go to that bit. There's nothing in the middle.
And the past is what they've been through, which is being the victim.
Yeah.
And then once they're done with talking about the past, they'll talk about what they wish they could have, but don't want to go out and get it again. And then it's just them hitting their shackles back on, basically. Or
maybe the book would even look like, you'll probably find out there's 100, 200, 300 pages with exactly the same writing on it.
Yeah.
I am this, I am that, I am poor, I am this and that.
Why me?
It's just the same thing. Why me? Yeah, exactly. 101 pages.
We can all sit here and go, why me?
Yeah. It's beautiful ending that they're trying to, you know what I mean? If anyone wants to read the book, they'll be like, that's not what they'll look like after reading it. It'll be like,
the same the same page is the same thing. Like, every page you turn to is just the same thing. And on the first page, you just be like, so is there not any? Because they're just stuck in the past.
Where's the synopsis?
It's like, where's the breakthrough? Where's the overcomeness? Where's the present moment?
Totally.
We're just stuck in the past, and people, they make it their reality. Their past is their present. And the future is just a far thing, a distance that's never going to happen. Even though it can happen, but it's a distance that's never going to happen because they're too busy trapped in that circle of being a victim. And they move on. They just don't move on, and you see it. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to change things, man, you've really got to like.
Well, we were sharing earlier that it's come to light. Now I'm 35 years old tomorrow, being the 29th of April, and it's an interesting one because we were sharing about how we almost have to, if we're going to live a particular lifestyle, regardless of what it is, you know what I mean, and what attributes you have, we almost have to have it's like a rescue safety bag. It's like a first aid kit bag, where we have a reserve amount of compassion in there, a reserve amount of love, and a reserve amount of logic. And it's almost like we have to have so whenever we go into a situation or attempt to go into engage in whatever it may be, a particular person, a relationship, or job, or attempt to complete a task, or whatever it may be, being in sync with who you are, and knowing that things may change and may not go according to plan as I see it in my head. I'm ready for the outcome, whatever it may be, because I know me, and I know that where I want to be or what I want to project into this situation is this. But I've got my reserve back just in case. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it might not run, mate. So if I get that scratch on the car, and like you said, oh my God, it's my car. Pull out that reserve bag, get that compassion going. You know what I mean? And I recognise, okay, so what's the next move? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because what we tend to find is we go stalemate, we stop, everything goes at a hole, we bust, more energy popping out, and then we probably allow, where you probably find a lot of people haven't even really touched base with that. With their shadow work, some things are popping back into their life, habits, call it May, and
triggers.
and then they triggers, so they come back into play again, and it's just a rolling cycle of just nonsense because we can be asked to clean house.
Yes, that came to my mind as well, like, regardless of what you're going through, having gratitude from where you are. Like, there's always someone out there who's going through worse than you are.
Totally.
And you know what I mean? Like, you could be in such a worse situation, like, every moment you're, I don't know, being a victim of something, or it could be someone on their deathbed trying to fight for their life. I'm not saying what you're going through isn't bad, but I'm just saying that you could be far more worse than where another person is. So it really is actually just being mindful that, if you've got a roof over your head, you're still eating, you got water, you're able to go to, regardless of what's going on, and you're able to do the basic things that some people don't even have. You got to look at that and be like, you know what? Even if I'm going through a shitty circumstances, you know what? I'm still lucky. I could be in a much worse place. And I really should be actually grateful that I'm still here, even to just have that experience.
Yeah, this chat's really making me reflect a lot, and it's really actually making me just open up. I can just feel it all here, where I'm just sort of allowing the moment to just fulfill me, and I'm just engaged with it. You know what I mean? And I feel quite comfortable with it. But there's a few things that, more than a few things, that definitely need to be addressed for one's well-being that we've been touching base on a lot. And I'll just bring them off, and if anything pops into your mind, just please jump in. But to have that transcendental surrender to the oversoul, allowing yourself to clean house, the traits that an individual may encounter within themselves that might be a trigger point, hopefully, but perhaps for them to think, okay, maybe I need to look at myself in an in-depth sort of approach of reaching out to some friends or to a particular helpful type of program. We touch base on the lack of self-awareness, the identities, the false identities that individuals create over time, the limited belief systems, that we create through the misillusions and the misillusions, the illusions and the delusions that we take on board, the ideologies that we create or we've taken on board through life, the masks of positivity, which is a big deal. And I think we should touch base a little bit on that as well, personally, just a little bit, because I think it's a real dangerous place, and I was part of that sort of idea of thinking, particular types of books and types of people I was following or researching or whatever it may end up. For example, just put an example out, the mask of positivity would be like the mask of positivity would be like putting yourself in a position where you're following people that are or programs that are telling you to overcome fear, but don't give you no idea as to how to overcome fear. And the only way they attempt to show you how to overcome fear is by putting in positive thinking, whatever that may be. Some people may disagree with this, but personally, it can be a dangerous place to be playing with positivity, as a lot of people think it or whatever people think it is. Positive thinking, it can hinder someone's progress badly, because actually all they're doing is just applying plasters to wounds that are not healed, that they've had for many, many years.
Yeah.
You know, and applying a positive mask over this will literally mask it for a while until time's right for it to come back up, and that wound will be exposed again. You know? And you know, so the masks of positivity, that's just one minor example. The mask of positivity can be a dangerous thing to play with. You know, I'm not against anything positive, if you want to call it that. But if you really want to make someone whole, you know, the word healing is a word that's being abused too much as well. But if you want to make someone whole, they need to be in tune or engaged with what's making them incomplete. By chucking on more applications in the acts of positivity, it's this is something we touch base on again. It's almost like teaching them to lie. Or no, it is teaching them to lie, because you're not dealing with what's actually at the real issues, the root problems. And by applying the mask of positivity, you're lying to yourself. You're lying that you're all right. You're lying that you are getting better. You're lying that you're the best version of yourself, or whatever it is. You're not dealing with root cause or whatever is generally up with that individual. And it's so important for us to be able to know the right information, that actually the feelings and the emotions that people are feeling are probably somewhat incorrect, and the labeling that are attached to these feelings are probably somewhat incorrect. You probably find that there is an alignment. I'm not saying everything's getting complete. I know people get anxiety and this and that. I did, and that's another story. But I attempted the mask of positivity for a while. You know, I've got nothing against affirmations or anything like that. Again, it's particular type of affirmations resonate, ones that are real and true, for example, not ones that are blasé and not you.
Yeah, no, like, if you're going for a situation,
you know, I'm the most beautiful person in the world, I can do anything. Like,
yeah,
it's not true, is it? So you're just playing a role-playing game, lying again. Like these masters, and there's many, many, many examples where I had to strip away from the nonsense. The lying gets me the most in it as well.
Lying to yourself.
Dangerous.
But people end up believing it.
Yeah.
They do it for so long.
And
It actually just becomes a habitual
delusional
thing.
point of view again.
It's normal.
Yeah.
They believe their own lies.
So, yeah, go on, carry on. Is there anything you want to touch base on that? Like, so mask of positivity, identities, false identities, limited beliefs, lack of self-awareness. These are things that, these are just a few things. What other areas do you feel would pop up in someone for them to maybe sort of question, okay, maybe I need to clean house a little bit, you know, or maybe there is something else that I need to be more aware of?
I just say, if you can look where you are in your life, and generally sit there and go, I am happy where I am today. If you can do that, then you're fine. That's if you're not lying to yourself. But if you can look where you are in your life, and if there's chaos, if there's drama, if there's failed relationships, failed friendship, I don't know, you're losing your jobs, that is telling you everything that you need.
Sleeping patterns.
Yeah. Are you indulging in?
Are you eating well?
Are you indulging
in? Are you not eating?
Yeah, alcohol. You indulging in drugs? Are you behaving in a way that isn't you?
Are you financially secure?
They tell you if you're really, well, if you're in a house clean, that in that way you're not, are you?
So the external can be
play a massive factor in telling you how.
Yeah, it can show us quite a lot.
Because it is a projection of what's going on inside. It's okay, and it's projected on the outside. So what's going on? So if it's chaos on the outside, it means it's chaos inside.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's like one of those film projectors. All it is just it's rolling out on the outside, and that's a big play of how you know that you need to start cleaning your stuff out, and that could be healthy eating, that could be going to the gym, yoga, meditation. It could be anything, herbal stuff. It could just be getting good sleep.
I've written down something here which you know, I'll probably keep with me quite. I really had to think about it, and it's about, and it ties in with shadow work, but what we can do in it, which takes time, especially something like monkey mind, is to practice real constructive criticism to oneself. Practice real constructive criticism. And I mean, not sitting there going, oh, I'm an horrible person, all this, all that. It's actually really being able to sit down where you are and question who you are, how you are, how you feel, how you're playing your role in your reality at the present moment. See what words come up. Even, you know, I'm one who likes to attempt to, you know, when I see a word, I want to know other words that are connected to it. Etymology is a big deal. Really sitting there and looking, getting into a dictionary and looking up a word, like, what is jealousy? Really, you know what I mean? Really know what it means. Go and have a look, sit with it and go, okay, what does this mean? You know what I mean? Like, angry, what's angry? What is angry? Going out properly having a look and look at the connections of other words, and you'll probably find that in your time cycle, the real will turn around and you'll be jumped onto some particular times in your time cycle where these words will trigger points in your life, you know, and you will resonate with them. And I say that because I done a particular type of program where I had to do steps. And it did help. It had its benefits, and it showed me. It opened doors for me to look into who I was as an individual. You know, trying to take notice of my place, where I was, where I am, and attempted to take responsibility for my own self. That's all I can be accountable for. It's all I can be accountable for. So practicing real constructive criticism is something that I think is so important. I feel that if we can enable ourselves to be we can always be our own worst critics, but to be our best critic, and be honest with it, we can free up a particular amount of energy that can allow us to absorb more compassion, for example, the ability to listen, to learn, so, you know, to be able to absorb. You'll find with that as well, which takes time, your input and output and how energy work changes. You can absorb better, as well as you might be depleting still, but you will be able to absorb, so you'll recharge a lot better at the same time through your awareness of, you know, doing it on a 5-10 minute basis, you know, like end of your day, finish work or whatever, you sit down with yourself. How was I today? I'm really being able to do that constantly, and trying to focus on the moment. It's very difficult for a lot of people, but giving yourself a time of day to schedule that time with yourself, you know. But yeah, you touch base on a lot of things there, to be honest. And so if there's anything else that you wanted to touch base on, please shout it out now. But feel like there's
Yeah, I feel
more to come, to be honest.
Well, that's part two, actually.
Mm.
Especially when we talked about cleaning the closet. That's another part to do.
Mm.
Things to implement.
I feel we'll definitely have to do another part on this and touch base a little bit more on a couple of things, maybe go a little bit more in depth. Definitely look at ways to actively clean house internally.
Yeah.
And maybe share some pointers together and implement these.
Yeah.
You know, implement these and maybe do a vlog and follow it through and see how we get along and share with others. But that being said, wow, I hope you enjoyed the show, guys. It was lovely having you on, Chantelle.
It's good being on.
Yeah, we spoke about so much there, so I hope you got a lot from it. But this is the Need to Know show. I'm here with Chantelle Dorsett. My name's Zeke Dorsett. Wholeness to you all. We are out. We'll see you soon.